Carlton H7 thingy. Anyone want to chat about anything or whatever, I'll just be playing guitar here. If you're not, feel free to like the video if you want to. Hey Ivan, how is John holding up without his daily Helix fix? It's okay, it feels a little bit strange. Yeah, it's a little bit odd. And finding other things to do videos on, I guess, is kind of fun though, I guess, maybe, but... Talk about the Helix a little bit? I can do, yeah. What do you want to talk about the Helix, Richie? The thing I found the other day is going to be useful, I think, when it comes to building a gigging preset. So what I found was this snapshot recall thing, or I was speaking to David Beebe about it and then sent Igor a message saying, is there something like this in the Helix? Can you all hear me okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, yeah, I think you can. Hopefully. So today I've got to do a chord video at some point, and what I was thinking about putting together was a little video about this snippet from Eric Johnson's cover of Stevie Wonder's Uptight. Hey Simon. But it's kind of tricky to play, but it's like a little, just a nice little piece of music, I think. So maybe I'll do a little bit of trying to figure out how I'm actually going to play that. But yeah, if you want to talk about anything else, hi Simon, we can do. And I've got my coffee, I've got a guitar. So yeah, if you wanted to like and subscribe or all those things, then feel free to do so. Hopefully there's some stuff on the channel that is still interesting to people. I don't know what your strategies are, people, for like getting things to speed and all of that. I'm going to put on a metronome for a bit, and that hopefully will help keep me actually playing in some sort of rhythm. And we're just going to go super slow for now. Hey Steve. Is it raining in Totnes? 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Awful. live stream. No, balls that up. So yeah, playing things slowly is difficult. I think the tricky thing with the Eric Johnson stuff is to get both aspects of the picking and the hybrid picking together. Bollocks. So I'm going to put the click now on 2 and 4 instead of 1 and 3. That is hard to. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that. 1, 2. I'm not sure if he does this or just. So I'm noticing that I keep hitting that this finger here. I'm not getting it to. So I need to practice that. So what I'm going to do is just practice resetting and try and notice what it feels like when I'm actually playing it and it rings out. So it's not like that. So not too much because it's going to end up hurting my wrist or. Let's bring it a bit better. That's a bit better. Simon, where are you from? Sounds like an English name. So what I'm trying to focus on here is A, the placement of the click, and then B, the kind of quality of those notes. If this is something that I'm going to try and get so I can actually play it cleanly and so it actually sounds good, that's what I'm kind of wanting to happen. Okay. That one was alright as well. So, maybe getting a little bit better now. So maybe I'll put that click back on 1 and 3 so that I'm not falling into like a state where I'm not paying attention to the click. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that kind of worked. Hey Hanover. Yeah, the backup singers are going for it. So yeah, that kind of worked okay. Enjoying that line 6 HX stomp then? Hey Tim. What are you liking about it? Anything you don't like about it? If you haven't liked the video yet, anyone who's watching this, I think people liking the video or subscribing and leaving comments, I think helps other people find the channel, which would help me out if you wanted to do that. Anyway, so right. Once the thing is kind of sounding how I want it to sound, then maybe I'd consider increasing the speed. So we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. One more time. One more time. Too fast. Yeah. Right, so the timing got ahead of itself there, so I got over whatever confident or whatever the word might be. 4. One more time. Nope. 4. That wasn't tidy, was it? 3, 4. Brushed. Some wrong notes. So one thing I'm finding that if I'm consciously trying to kind of just play the thing but play it slower, I'm kind of rushing ahead. But if I try to be expressive and feel what this tempo would feel like to play at, as in I'm just trying to exist in this tempo rather than thinking about I need to play this faster at some point, then maybe I can settle into it a little bit better and feel a bit more zen. So if I try and pull the timing around and play it expressively at this tempo, maybe that's probably sound no different to you guys, but it might feel differently to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Nah. So I'm not particularly happy with how that was like sounding in terms of the quality or the tone of the notes. 4, 2, 3, 4. Hey Christopher, hope you're well. This is from Korea, I believe, is where Sire build their guitars. Oh no, this one's made in Indonesia. I think they're a Korean company, but they've got their own little factory out in Indonesia. Right, so yeah, I'm going to do it, maybe try and play it 4 times cleanly in a row, and then if it's feeling good and sounding good, I might move the tempo up a bit. So let's just try that. 3, 4. Hey Jim. 4. Right, so that dead note means maybe I'm not ready to move on, or maybe I'm not concentrating enough or something. How did you get hold of it, Tom Ann? Have you bought... Oh, you do like this Strat. Have you got one of those, yeah? So, yeah, let's just chat about what you like about it, or whatever, Christopher, if you've got one. This one was actually one that Sire sent to me, I guess because they like my reviews that I've done of the other 2, which is the awkward thing about doing a good review of something. Potentially a company might like it and then send you free stuff, which is not necessarily why I did those videos, obviously. 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So I think at the moment they're struggling to kind of churn out the amount of guitars. I think the demand for them ended up being a bit more than they expected, is the impression I get. They're working on some others. You have a Tyler Elite, nice. 2, 3, 4. So, some of those were okay. I think one of the things with timing, like I see people talk about timing as if it's a thing that you kind of either have or you don't, or that you've either got it correct or you haven't. And as someone with dodgy timing, most of them are good for strats. I would say, someone's just asked if my Helix, if there are ones that are better for strats than others. And most of them are designed for strats, I would say. So the thing is, I think with timing, it's more of an ongoing thing to work on. Yeah, I think most of the time the Sire pickups are pretty clear. Which is ideal for me. I prefer to go towards the bright side rather than darker humbuckers with too much mid-focus. I prefer things that are a bit closer to a single coil. So yeah, I feel like timing is a thing that is an ongoing kind of thing that you can work on. This neck is slimish, I would say. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but well, that strap's gone now. Went off for repair. What happened? Chris here. Oi oi. How you doing, Alfik?
The doctor.
So, Chris, hope you're doing well. This is from Eric Johnson's cover of a Stevie Wonder tune. Tune called Uptight, which you may or may not know. It's one of the ones that from early Stevie. And there's like this little interlude where Eric does this thing, and I was trying to break it down and figure out how to play it. What happened to Foot Switch 2? But I'm going to do a video on it later on, Chris. But yeah, I'm just trying to kind of get it so that I can actually play it consistently and hopefully play it well. Four. So, falling off the wagon there. So I'm sometimes playing that as a harmonic, the B. I'm sometimes playing it as just an open B, and sometimes playing it as the 12th fret. I'm not exactly sure which he does, so probably worth practicing all of them. 2, 3, 4. Fluff that note. So I'm leaving a finger hanging over that, so that's why that's not working out. Yeah, it will sound like there's some harmonics because sometimes there is, and also you've got that kind of open. So maybe what I'm going to try and do now is pull around the timing a little bit and maybe try and play it late after the click. Some of these things maybe help me to try and focus on a thing other than what I'm playing and kind of forget about the stuff a little bit and this kind of stuff. It's not on an album, there's just a live version of it, Chris. I think if you search Eric Johnson Uptight, you'll find it. It's him playing like a red Strat when he's very young. So Sam, this is, for my chord video today, is a little snippet from Eric Johnson's cover of Stevie Wonder's Uptight. So this is kind of late. Then I'll try and maybe pull it back straight to normal-ish time. Yeah, speak to you in a bit, Chris. Stay safe. Go follow Chris's channel if you're into seeing a bloke try and shoot, well, succeeding to shoot probably. 4, 4, 3, 4. Maybe I should be playing that. Let's just do it a couple of times before we up the speed. Don't know. So try and concentrate on this stuff is a good on a nylon string. That could sound cool. 4. So I don't know if he slides it. I'll check this later on a bit more. So I'm finding that I'm doing inconsistent things at the start of the thing. So I don't know whether I want to end up with my middle finger here or how do you know when you should move on when practicing? Well, it depends on what the goal is of what you're doing. If you're happy with the thing, but I guess for me, kind of the goal of some of this is to practice practicing as well, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to work on a few things at the same time. So in this case, this isn't particularly about any end goal, if that makes sense. However, what I'm sort of doing is practicing in some ways. So I'll move on when I move on, if that makes sense. But oftentimes, depending on what you're practicing, the time to move on will be dictated to you rather than you deciding, if that makes sense. So it will either be dictated because you've not got time to move on from it, or you've got other stuff that you need to be doing, or you'll just um, run out of concentration anyway. So yeah, that's what I would say. I understand as well. Sometimes you just get frustrated with a thing, and it just gets worse and worse. Um, but again, I think the goal with that is to then just break it back down to either you do just break up the practice with something that you can execute, so you get the feeling again of being able to execute, and then move back to the thing. Right, so let's try and let's just up the speed a bit. So I'll put it up maybe 5 BPM. Yeah, the thing, John Harold makes a good point. Oftentimes, sleeping on a thing that you've practiced is the best thing for it. So, particularly if you're working on something that you're trying to get up to speed and it feels complicated, normally when you then come to it, if you've done some focus practice on it, the next day it feels in some way better. Now, this isn't necessarily the case when you're building things up to like crazy speed, but it often is the case with things that you are finding difficult to remember, or like little moves that were tricky at the day before. The next day, if you practice it in a focused way, it feels a bit better, if that makes sense. Hey Jason. So Jen asks, I think I get impatient and never completely perfect a song and end up moving on to other songs related to wanting to learn so much. It can be overwhelming. Tips on that? So here's my advice on that. Just follow where your interests go. The thing is, you don't necessarily ever perfect a thing anyway. I think that idea is maybe idealistic, and if, for instance, you learn, I don't know, 3 songs, that potentially you learn a lot more from those 3 songs than you would from focusing for ages until you reach what you think is perfect on that one song. Then the other kind of idea is that in the future you might come back to that first song that you learned. So say you're learning 3 jazz tunes, I don't know, Autumn Leaves, So What, and something else. Does it, Jen? When it comes, you could spend all your time focusing on Autumn Leaves, but that's only one song. As a musician or as a guitarist or an improving guitarist or whatever, you're probably going to need to be able to do more than one thing. So the idea that your interests move on to other songs, I think, is natural and good anyway. And then when it comes time to get back to that song 1, you might find that there's things you've improved anyway. So, when I come to return to a song that I already learned before, it's that much easier because I've spent time with it before, but it's also I've come to it with other stuff that I've learned as well. Hey Keith, how you doing? So Tidal Embers says, I find practicing something 10 minutes a day is better than one session of 2 hours. Could just be me. I think regular, consistent attendance and trying to practice a thing is important. I don't know that you can binge practice in the way that you can binge TV programs and stuff. There's an amount of time I think that you can concentrate on stuff, and maybe that's different for lots of people, but even if you can arrive at the guitar for 10 minutes a day and do something consistent, I think that's really beneficial, not just for your guitar playing, but mentally I think it probably puts you in a good place too. Do we like this guitar? Yeah, I think it's a really cool guitar for the money. I'm not as enamoured with it as I was with the Strat version that they've done, and also the Les Paul has really grown on me, but it's not to say that in time this won't also grow on me. The neck seems a little bit thicker than both of the other guitars. I'm not sure I love the feeling of an ES335 anyway. If you know what I mean, it's like quite a big feeling body, but yeah, this is the one of the Sire guitars that I haven't tried, but I think it's a really solid instrument. Right, so I'm going to try and up that tempo a bit again. Again, the goal isn't necessarily that as a kid I would have been rushing to get this as fast as possible, as quick as I could, and as I've grown up a bit, that's not really the goal anymore. I think there's kind of a Zen goal, a meta goal, where it's just practicing as much as anything else, if that makes sense. So trying to have good habits where you're paying attention to different bits and pieces rather than just trying to play fast, and that kind of stuff is a thing as I've got old. So other things to kind of, as you get comfortable with the part, and you get comfortable with the timing, you want to start to think maybe about other aspects of the playing. So as I say, you think about maybe pulling the timing or playing as if this was the tempo of the piece, and instead of thinking, I need to get this faster, but also thinking about maybe dynamically try and play it soft, try and play it a little bit louder. And those are things that, again, just mentally take you to a different place, so you're not overthinking each tiny little micro movement or whatever. Oi, oi, Jim. So maybe just do one super soft now. So both of those kind of came off okay, so that was a good sign. So one was kind of softer, one was kind of louder, but it didn't fall apart, so that's good. So I'm going to just push the tempo up a little bit more to 100 now. Another thing to notice with the click is that I've only got it going 2 beats a bar. and I think that gives you a little bit more to concentrate on and tell you whether or not you're in time. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Missed that note there. Missed that bit there. There. So I'm now botching that bit consistently, so I'll just try and refocus. Oh dear. Metronome. I'm using Soundbrenner. It's a free metronome. That works quite well. It's my right hand that's doing the thing. Maid's gym pack to the left, yeah. Right, so Keith, what are you working on at the moment? There we go. I feel like I have to practice standing. Yeah, I would play standing more often than not. That's what I've been doing now. Just for health reasons, I think it's a bit healthier than sitting down and practicing. I found that, you know, that had become an issue more recently. So that's a thing that I do way more often now, is just practice standing. There's no reason to be sitting down unless you need to. And personally, I feel like I can stand all day and it doesn't feel like anything really. It's just fine. If you haven't liked the video yet, you could consider doing that. That would help other people find it, I guess, and other people find the channel. So yeah, anyway, oh, and also if you're not a subscriber yet, that might also be cool. 2, 3, 4. So yeah, Tidal Embers asks, do you sometimes things are actually harder to play slowly? I think the thing about playing slowly is you probably notice things a little bit more. So if you're playing a legato line, like let's just try something, 3, 4. I can notice way more when I'm playing it slowly how dodgy my timing is. 3, 4. If that makes sense. So that's a way that the slow tempo thing just helps you be more aware of what's going on, I think, and also you can probably tell more when things feel a bit off, you know, so like whether there's a note which didn't ring out properly. If you just blast through it at tempo, I don't think you necessarily are as conscious of the things that aren't necessarily being executed as you'd like. Yeah, so like you can just, it's just way more obvious when things are rushed. So like spending time doing that each day with a metronome, doing just controlled, sensible, like polite practice in that way, I guess, is as beneficial as anything else, I think. Anyway, right, so one more little go. Watch that. Yeah, so there we go. That's a couple takes that went okay there. I noticed when things weren't going well, so I'm just going to up it again a little bit to 108. So can be as conservative as you like with those increments and stuff. Again, the goal isn't necessarily for me to be racing ahead with this. It's just I want things to kind of feel good, and I'm practicing as much as anything, and practicing like good technique, or good mental awareness of what's going on. There's all of that kind of stuff. So some of those went okay. Yeah, well, feel free to comment what you're working on as well. That'd be interesting. That sounds cool, Keith. History of Les Paul Juniors. I know almost nothing about them. I mean, well, probably literally nothing. So, tips for clean, clear legato when descending. So, one of the kind of things that I've recently kind of got the idea to do from David Beavy and Tom Quayle is to practice kind of more left-hand only playing, and that gives you a real clear indication of things that are working and things that are not. Which YouTube channel related to guitar is one you never miss an episode. In between making videos, I don't really have that much time to watch other channels so much. I think Rotem Savan is doing some really cool stuff in the jazz world. That'd be maybe one that I wish I had more time to watch, because I just think it's good to get like jazz lessons from a working jazz musician in New York. Someone like Bob Reynolds, although not essentially guitar related, music related, I've enjoyed watching those, and Yannick Gwizdala, who's a bass player. That kind of stuff. I don't necessarily find it super easy to watch too much stuff, just because I've got my own stuff to work on. Larry Carlton stuff, yeah, there was a time between him and Robin Ford when I was at uni. I was listening to a bit of both of those guys, but it's a little bit on the blues side for me. Whereas my interests have been a little bit more towards the jazz side, I'd say. So yeah, just practice for this legato descending stuff. It's going to be really difficult and it might not sound very good, but practicing just left hand only, and just practicing descending hammer-ons as well. So what I find works for me is like a mixture of a pull-off and a hammer-on. So typical pull-off technique looks something like that, but effective pull-off technique kind of involves more of a sideways movement, I find, than a straight up movement. So you need, but yeah, practice kind of hammering and descending, so you're pulling off and descending at the same time. And again, when you're doing it this fast, you're going to notice when things aren't being placed right. I don't know that I would necessarily practice legato too much with a clean technique. I think it might be a bit disheartening, as in clean, what's the word? Clean tone. So feel free to put on a bit of drive and stuff. Maybe practice with the kind of tone that you want to play legato with. I think just playing totally clean tone might be a bit too difficult really to get the response that you want, especially early on. So that kind of thing. I'm not a patron of anyone else at the moment, Sam. So just left hand only is really challenging with the legato stuff, so maybe spend some time focused on that. Have a good day, Jason. Right, I'm just gonna try and maybe push the tempo up a little bit. So we've got 113 now. 3, 4. Farting notes everywhere. Change that battery. So yeah, I'll come back to some more legato ideas in a second, but I think that's very common to find the descending stuff is a challenge. 3, 4. Okay, so some of that worked. I know you did, Richie. I'm back. 4. 4. Quiet. Right, let's try that again, but quietly. 3, 3, 4. Ah. So some of those quiet ones worked okay. Maybe you could also try like playing with different articulation. So maybe try and play something quite staccato. 3, 4, 3, 4. Switching guitars at the higher tempo. 3, 4. What do you mean switching guitars? Which guitar do you want me to play, Keith? So yeah, the legato stuff, while I wait for Keith to tell me, you could also consider trying to do arpeggios. Hey George, so the answer is normally I try to have the trem on my strats down only, if that makes sense, so kind of decked. That's the go-to. Right, well I'll just switch over guitars if you want. Let's try it on the, some of this stuff is kind of difficult to do on an easier guitar to play, so we'll try that on the other Sire, since we're doing Sire stuff. Right, so switch to a guitar you're most comfortable, otherwise you might be wrestling with the instrument. Yeah, fair point. So just tune up. If you haven't liked the video or subscribed, you could consider doing so, and it might help other people find this awful channel. So this was my first experience of a Sire guitar. I have a Sire bass, but this was the first guitar. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah. 2, 3, 4. So something's feeling different about this already. Yeah, that H7 is pretty nice, I think, I would say. It's looking quite different now because I've got a lighter fretboard, so like experientially it just looks different to play as well. 4, 3, 4. And also it's quite a lot brighter tone, so maybe I'll back that off a little bit. It's feeling different. 3, 4. This white guitar is also a Sire. Yeah, this is the other Larry Carlton one. Whoops. So yeah, at this point, I mean, typically this might be the kind of time when you find yourself losing concentration. Even for me anyway, I feel like this would be kind of pushing it as far as I want to practice the same thing over and over. So I'll just try and keep persevering through that instinct. 3, 4. So some of that's feeling okay, so we'll try a quiet one. Three, 4. So some of that worked okay. What are we working on? So this is a little passage from Eric Johnson's cover of Stevie Wonder's Uptight. Because it's a Friday, I wanted to work on like a chord thing because I'm going to try and film a video on it later on. So I've just wanted to get a stage where it kind of feels natural under my hands and stuff. Way 4. So Wayne, I don't always use a metronome when I practice, but if I'm trying to speed a thing up, I would, just because it keeps you consistent and it keeps you playing the thing. Sometimes I find if I'm trying to practice a thing that I'm working up to speed, I have a tendency to rush things more so. It also gives you like something constant to focus on, and it also helps you work on your timing at the same time as whatever you're working on. That kind of thing, if that makes sense. Quietly. 3, 4. Ah. loud. Not so good. So that's kind of a fun way to vary things up as well a bit and try and work on a couple of things at once. If you do like what I've been saying throughout, where you're varying your kind of dynamics. I think it's also helps to work on kind of some aspects of stamina. Sometimes playing it consistently loud is quite difficult. Hey Morton. I feel like we're getting near to what that goal tempo kind of would be, although I didn't really set a goal. But it's starting to feel a lot more 3/4. So Wayne's question, do you always use a metronome when you practice, is another good question for a couple of different reasons. So one good thing, so certainly when I was younger, a lot of my metronome practice would have been with this kind of thing, and it's very easy for that to become a crutch that you rely on quite a lot for timing. 3/4. But the issue with that is that real world timing doesn't really work in that same way where you have that much information to rely on. So what I would also experiment with is having way less beats. So now I've got 1 per bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just try and let myself do more of the timekeeping. 2, 3, 4. It's all going wrong now. 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. And you'll notice if you practice the thing for a while, you have these lapses in concentration and times where it doesn't really go very well at all. So like Richie said, you mean that you keep practicing over the point where you already lose concentration and start making mistakes more than usual. This is what feels like it's happening right now. But those kind of ebb and flow, I think, through a practice session. So if you get frustrated with it, it will last longer, that period. But if you just let the mistakes happen a little bit and don't really judge them too much, but just try and execute, then hopefully that passes quicker than it would if you just get frustrated. 2, 3, 4. Draw 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. So yeah, you're hopefully seeing that some of the practice is paying off. And I guess you also can allow yourself to kind of go off on these other things. You are making music, so if you find something like I just happened across there, just let that. So I'm quite liking the sound of that. So I'm just going to spend some time doing that whilst I try and get concentration back. So that was kind of a fun little thing. Right, so let's 3, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I can definitely feel like that concentration thing is happening that I talked about, where consistently my brain is doing things, or whatever, my fingers and brain, that connection seems to be a little off. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. So yeah, that came together okay there. So that's what I mean. You can sort of allow yourself to have that lack of concentration and frustration. You can sort of work past that a bit if you don't hold on to it, I think. But yeah, tomorrow if I come to play this thing, this process of going through it very slowly and trying to make sure things are ringing out, hopefully will have paid off. And if I try to play it tomorrow, yeah, don't practice till you get it right, practice till you can't get it wrong. So that seems like a little bit perfectionist in some ways, but the idea of the practice is definitely to be consistently getting it more correct than yeah, and building up that kind of reliable playing correctly thing. But I think if you go with the impression that you're going to get it totally perfect, I think that might be over the top in some ways. Does that make sense? It might be like a bit of a disheartening thing or a too high a goal. I don't know. 2, 3, 4. Three, 4. So all of that was not good. 3, 4. Hey, Klaus. So, right, that's with the metronome, one kind of per beat. I guess also it'd be good to kind of move your feet around whilst you're doing this, which I've just forgotten to be doing, rather than just locking your knees in one place or whatever. Brushing. Fits nicely tuned. So yeah, do you ever just go work on something else then come back? Absolutely, yeah. So I did that on this Sunday. I was trying to film a jazz tune, and you got my first take of it that I tried, but I wasn't particularly happy with it, so I just went for a walk and came back, 45 minutes ago, 45 minutes later. But yeah, absolutely. I think walking away from the guitar is a good idea. Maybe working on something else might just, if it's another thing which is requiring a lot of attention on the guitar, I don't necessarily think that would work so much, because you just, again, exhaust your mind with another thing. So unless it's something which is relatively, the thing I would aim to do is then just do something which gives you the feeling of being able to execute it, rather than something else that's taxing mentally or whatever. Hey, the lab. That might be, I think a good plan for that. So let's just try and see if we can get it back. 4, 3, or just take one small part of it and just really focus on that. So 3, 4. Just taking one small part of a thing and making that the thing that you focus on again might be something that's easier to 3, 4 concentrate on. 2, 3, 4. Well, that's coming at 12 o'clock. I have done it. So yeah, I think ultimately there is like a ceiling to where you can get to in like one practice session, and again, there's probably little point in trying to force yourself past it. Like, so some of these things that I'm doing here, I feel like I'm maybe having diminishing returns and slightly frustrating. 3, 4. 3, 4. And sometimes I think it's good to just turn off the metronome altogether. And this is something I didn't do enough when I was coming up practicing. If you haven't liked and subscribed, you could feel free to do so if you're into this sort of rambling. Anyway, but relying just on yourself for that inner metronome thing, and being comfortable that you're holding the tempo, and maybe thinking about yourself as a kind of percussionist, as a kind of drummer. That's something that I feel like I didn't do a whole lot as a kid, and I think it's a space that you want to be comfortable in, particularly if you're interested in kind of the jazz thing or accompanying others. You know, like if I'm playing with a singer, then I need to be comfortable holding the rhythm and not doing a thing which is something that I have a tendency to do, where I'm kind of just always getting faster. That's something that I've worked to try and avoid. But just being comfortable that you're the metronome, I think, is something that probably most of us, well, I'll just talk for me anyway, it's something that I need to be more comfortable with doing anyway. So we could just go without the metronome for a bit. Did I ever play so much as I am doing now? There was a time when I was doing way more, but there's more in front of the camera than usual. But there have been times when I certainly practice more. Like a lot of the videos you see is just improvisation, so those don't necessarily take much time. So much as the putting together the videos takes a bit more time than the actual playing aspect of most of the stuff. So maybe I'm going to try and do this now and tap a foot, but it's probably going to set up a dog, so I'll try and do it gently here. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. No. So with this kind of, when it's me counting, I want to be kind of conscious of not just rushing and constantly increasing in speed. That's what I'm trying to be aware of. So maybe you could also try actually physically counting, which might be difficult. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So that's again a thing that I think would have been hugely helpful if I'd practiced doing this sort of thing more when I was younger. Physically counting whilst playing can be incredibly difficult. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, So, like that kind of thing. Drew, this is a little snippet of Eric Johnson's cover of Stevie Wonder's Uptight, which you can find on YouTube. He's playing a red Strat on it if you're looking for it. But I guess I'm kind of just talking more about how to practice at the moment. Would this make an interesting actual video if I talked about some of these things later on? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So let's hear it on the sound beat. All right, give me a second. That's going to go in between. So again, yeah, this was kind of Keith's idea, wasn't it? Switching guitars, I think, actually can help also to break your concentration and make you think about things again in a slightly different way. I've actually put together a Podgo jazz preset art. Don't know if you want me to send you that. I think I did that yesterday. I don't know what I would call the video, but so we're going without the metronome again, just because this is a thing that I don't know that a lot of people necessarily talk about too much. What's your opinion on buying used fractal stuff? I've not heard of fractal stuff breaking. I don't know if anyone else has. If they want to chime in the comments. I think it's pretty reliable. So what we're doing, we're going to try and count it as we play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I forgot to count 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. That's not it, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Keep doing that now, don't I? One, two, three, four. Keep doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so some of that's okay, but as I say, practicing with your doing the counting stuff I think works. Paramedic Pete, here he is. You changed your name. enhancer block in the HX stomp or something equivalent. There's the stereo widener in the volume kind of section is where you're looking for stereo width, and those ones are quite cool. This has got crisp hand wired, the mini humbucker in the bridge, and Firebird in the neck. So you want to also practice not being too reliant on the one or the other way of practicing it, if that makes sense. So I'll put the metronome 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, that's coming together quite a lot better than it was at the start of this session. I'd imagine it sounds like that to you as well. It certainly feels like it to me in 2, 3, 4. Try it quietly. Lost concentration. 4. There. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Cool, so that's me showing you inside what I think one of my better practice sessions might look like if I was more focused. 2, 3, 4. Quietly. 3, 4, quiet. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Pulls that up. 3, 4. Cheers, Jim. Quietly. Quietly again. Loudly. Not very good. Loudly. No. And loudly again. 2, 3, 4. Nah. Loudly. Loudly. 3, 4. Yeah, Richie, that's what I mean though. That's why I'm doing these little kind of varieties of stuff, and maybe I'm trying to play it quieter, maybe louder, just trying to keep that musicality so it's not just a case of muscle memory, trying to mix in these other aspects. 3, 4. And that's the thing about little things like this. So this particular passage might not happen often in a song, and to get it to the stage where I'd be confident that every time I could nail it or whatever, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. It just requires a lot of practice and maybe a sleep session as well. 2, 3, 4. Now. 2, 3, 4. Two, three, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, this is probably more than I would actually practice it in one day, to be honest with you, but this is kind of the steps that I think would help to get the idea of being confident that I would actually get that part right, if that makes sense. Right, so I'm going to have to go and eat some food now, but hopefully that's vaguely interesting to 1 or 2 people. If you haven't liked the video yet, I'm about to stop streaming, so do feel free to do so if you got anything out of this. Thank you, Richie in particular, for commenting, and Jim and Keith and Pete. It's not that strange actually, Paramedic Pete. I think so. What we're doing when we're practicing is we're kind of building pathways in the brain, and that building carries on as we sleep. So although we've stopped practicing it, there's like subconscious behavior which happens in the brain, which helps that thing be more solidified. And I think that's why people talk about practicing in this kind of way. So I'm going to try and put a video together on this sort of thing, and hopefully that will, you know, summarize some of what I'm talking about in this video, because the part itself, there's plenty to talk about. But something that's kind of intricate like that I want to sound pretty, this is how I might practice that and try and get that feeling in mind that I'd be able to actually execute that and nail that each time. This would be the kind of process that I'd go through, I think. Although that's not initially what I'd intended this video to be about, that's what it has been, or this stream, or whatever, and this hangs. So thank you everyone for contributing to that, and it has actually given me the idea for the video that I'll try and film in a sec. So thank you very much for stopping by. Hopefully there's plenty of other stuff on the channel for folks who are of the same mind as me, you know, interested in guitar and gear and coffee. But yeah, thank you for stopping by and spending some time watching this. And I think there's a quad cortex video which has just gone live now, which might be interesting to 1 or 2 people as well. Yeah, this is a cool guitar, Motown. So if you want to be notified of this kind of live stream, I'm doing them quite regularly at the moment, just trying to get the word out there or whatever, try and build awareness of the channel, then you could consider liking, subscribing, all that sort of stuff. I think it helps other people find it, and it may help you also be notified of the video. But yeah, I'll catch you in a little bit, and wish me luck filming this video. I'll catch you in a bit. Cheers Jen, cheers Isaiah, cheers Tidal, cheers everyone. Bye now.